I've consulted with thousands of churches to raise awareness for their church, and here's what I found. There's no plan. There's no strategy. They're scattershot. They don't know what they don't know. So they just try everything, right? An ad shows up for a software. Hey, let's try that. No one's coming in from our website. Let's try a new website. And they end up just basically swapping firearms, but they don't know how to shoot, so to speak. Okay. It's like a fisherman going out, and he's going to be able to catch fish with whatever rod or reel or line you bait and you put on his hands. Okay. But you give an amateur a pro rod, he ain't going to catch nothing because he don't even know how to put bait on the hook. Right. That's the extent of my fishing knowledge, even though my families are big fishermen. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have a plan. You can't just go scattershot. Yeah, you might hit a few things, but you're going to miss a lot more. And so having a plan is going to be necessary for your church marketing outreach or marketing success. You got to have a 1, 2, 3 plan. Okay. I like 1, 2, 3. Some people got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, there's no wrong answer. There's only what's the best answer. There's a reason why the definitive church marketing method has a 3-step, and then within those 3 steps, another 3 steps per trinity of trinities, so to speak, because that's just what I've seen work best for our clients. But if you are just scattershot, you're going to spend years trying something that was never going to work in the first place, but you just tried it because you thought it would work. It worked for someone else, so let me try it this way. And you waste valuable time and valuable money, in which, by the way, the time is more valuable than the money, right? You can get more money. You can't get more time. And so you waste valuable time and money on what's not working, thinking it will work because you don't have a plan. You're just trying random things. You're going to the vitamin shop and saying, I need to lose 100 pounds. Let me grab this. Let me grab this. Let me grab this. Let me grab that. That's a pretty bottle. And you're just grabbing stuff off the shelf. You don't know what's going to happen when you take all those vitamins together. You don't know what's going to happen when you take something you've never taken before. And then if something does go wrong, you don't know what to blame it on. You might stop taking the wrong vitamin and keep taking the one that's actually hurting you. And when you do this with church marketing, you end up worse than when you started, because now you've got less money. Now you've stressed yourself out with all the time you've lost. And also, by the way, speaking of finance committees, they're going to be less willing to try something else again. Okay. So number one, you got to have a plan. You got to have a roadmap. If you don't have one to start with, use the definitive church marketing method. Down below this, there's a link to get the definitive church website homepage framework. Okay. I know it's a mouthful, but I want to accurately describe it. I don't want to mislead anyone. And then from there, once you get that, I'll do it sends you to a training video. You can see the full definitive church marketing method. If you don't have a plan, start with that one. It was literally built for churches who are just trying random things. Okay. But you got to have a plan, and then you got to stick to the plan. You got to commit. Okay. An annual Bible reading plan. You know what separates the people that finish the Bible in a year, and the people that don't, is they have a plan, right? I have a plan. When I wake up, I don't make my bed. I empty the dishwasher. I make my coffee, and that's when I have my quiet time. Okay. That's my plan. If my plan gets ruined, I don't have my Bible time, right? You got to have a plan. We all have our plans, our habits, our routines. And the same thing is true with church marketing. You got to have a plan. You got to stick with it. You got to be committed. All right. And not only that, this is where a lot of churches think like, oh yeah, we're doing good. Wrong. You got to iterate on that plan. You got to go out and say, okay, what's not working of this part, or how can we do it better? Okay. We wanted to get this result. We fell a little bit short. What's the difference, and what can we do to make up that difference? All right. That's one of the benefits of having an agency like ours, because we can spot that difference and we can make those adjustments on the fly or plan them out for next month. And you just keep ministering to people, because that's all you got to worry about. So you got to have a plan. You got to stick with the plan, and you got to iterate with the plan. Okay. And that's why our definitive church marketing method right now is just an agency service, because it's got to be customized for your church. Okay. And it's got to be iterated based on the results that you see. For some churches, it works at triple church guests in 90 days. Some of them even more. Others, it's like, okay, well, this targeting strategy is not working, so let's flip the switch and try it a different way, right? Or this book isn't resonating, so let's flip the switch and try a different online guest gift. Okay. It's the definitive church marketing method because it works for every church. but it won't work for every church if you don't stick with the plan, commit to the plan, and iterate the plan. And I don't care what you do. Okay. I mean, I don't mean to sound rude, but I mean, everything works, just not everything works for everyone. So if you choose someone else's plan, another expert's plan, another agency's plan, it will work if you stick with it and do what they tell you to. And this is where this is true for anything. Any fitness coach will tell you this works, but it ain't going to work if you're going to stuff donuts in your mouth when you leave the gym, right? And the same thing is true. If you're not going to use the tools properly, it's probably not going to work for you. When you stop trying to chase the hottest new thing and stick with a proven strategy, yes, to the point where you're even bored, you will see people paying attention to you, and you will have more time for your ministry, because eventually you build a system, you build an engine that runs itself, right? Going with a guest ministry, you need to have a plan. What are you going to say when people walk in the door? Where are you going to take people? How are you going to check their kids in? Where are you going to take them after check-in? Where's the closest bathroom once you walk in? Who's going to carry what? While you're walking someone to the nursery, who's going to stand at the door then? Right? And then what time do the greeters need to leave to be, what do you call greeters when they say goodbye? Goodbyers? So longers? I don't know. What time are they going to leave the sanctuary, right? It's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of like, what's going to be in our guest gift, and what kind of forms do we need, and how do we make a pretty connect card? You're going to spend some time on that, but eventually the machine runs itself, right? The greeters show up on time. There's someone leading it now. Someone takes over the guest gifts. Once you get to a certain number, you're low, you order more. The engine runs itself, but you got to invest that time. Same thing is true with your marketing. If you set up a plan and you stick with the plan, yeah, that's going to take some time and investment. But then once you get the engine running, all you got to do is minimum maintenance on it, right? You don't got to go in there and tear the engine apart every 3 months. Just change the oil or rotate the tires or clean the catalytic converter, right? Which is something I didn't know you had to do until recently. So have a plan and stick with the plan. Okay. And this is what I'll do one more pitch here for my website framework. You can get that for free, navachurchwebsite.com. Folks will take that and they'll implement a couple things, and they won't implement all of it. Like one of the necessary items on the homepage is an online guest gift and only 2 calls to action, your primary one and the online guest gift. And they don't stick with that plan, and it ends up not working for them. Not because the plan doesn't work. It's just that they didn't implement it. They didn't commit to it. They started and stopped it so they could start something else. And unfortunately, that's just kind of what it is. But there are some people that did implement it, and they're seeing some really fantastic results. Bounce rates down, click-through is up, having an online journey, nurture sequences are up as well, even using other software like Text and Church. It's really awesome. All right. Now, look, there's 2 kinds of pastors that are going to hear this. There's going to be action takers, who we call relentless pastors, and there's going to be wait and see pastors. I had one call today, and there's nothing wrong with a call like this. In fact, many of my calls go like this. I got a call from someone, not the pastor, worker at the church, wonderful woman, looking for rebranding. And she's like, well, I don't know, it's going to have to go through some decisions. We do drag our feet on decisions. We might be able to start this beginning of next year. All right. Automatically, that's not a good fit for us. We move fast. We make decisions fast. We launch fast. We iterate fast. We are a fast-moving agency. That's why some people love us. That's why some people don't want to work with us, because we're not going to spend 6 months on your logo, okay? If you want that, great. You're going to pay for that. It's going to be a lot more expensive than we charge, but we're going to move faster. And we have certain churches that resonates with, and we can be light on our feet because they're light on their feet. That's great, okay? But they're going to be wait and see, which means they're going to have longer time to look at more information, and nothing changes. And then in January, when the time comes around, they actually start implementing. They don't realize you don't get that tomorrow. You've got to go to meetings. You've got to do deep dives. You've got to do iterations. You've got to do revisions. You've got to do approvals, right? So maybe that logo gets done by Easter. Or you can be an action taker and says, this needs to be done. This needs to be done right now. And we'll make it work whenever it happens, right? Every pastor becomes an action taker when the AC goes out, right? There's never any money in the budget until the AC goes out. Then you find that money. Okay, well, guess what? The AC is going out in the community. The community is going to hell. And we're just sitting here, just staying silent, saying, well, we'll wait and see. Let's go with the cheapest option. Let's not have a plan. That's why they're deadly sins. Because the community is dying because we're sitting here trying to spin our wheels. we're sitting here trying to make a decision, or at least what we say, a proper, wise decision, when really all we're doing is procrastinating. Really all we're doing is seeing what we can cut or sacrifice instead of what we can double down on.